I like TV that feels like, oh, let's get the family gathered around and watch a workplace family or a friend group family or a family. And then I like to fuck with all of that and like make you think you know what you're going to get and then betray you narratively and give you something you didn't expect. And I see a lot of people get mad. They're like, this isn't what I wanted. It's not what I thought it was going to be. And then like 3 years later, they're like, I do like this.
Hey, Ashley Victoria Robinson, your video host and producer here in the Popverse, coming to share a brand new video series with you. Well, kind of. Record scratch. I wonder how we got here. Over on our members only part of the Popverse, we have been doing a series called Popversations, where we have only the coolest conversations with only the coolest creators. It's been going on for about a year now, and we are deciding to share some of those from our archives with you. So if you want to see the most recent, the most up-to-date interviews, be sure that you go over there and get yourself a membership. And in the meantime, enjoy the video. Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Popversations, where we have deep dive conversations with only the coolest creators as we welcome them into the Popverse. I am your host and producer, Ashley Victoria Robinson, and the Popverse is, of course, as you know, a virtual realm created by ReadPop, where we are celebrating the very best in TV, movies, and comics each and every single dang day. If you found us here, you found us at thepopverse.com, where we have so many more videos, articles, lists, everything you can possibly be looking for. Thank you for joining me today for episode 2 of Popversations. We are getting a chance to celebrate the ending of one of my favorite genre shows in years. Recently, we watched the final episode of Star Trek Lower Decks. LLAP. We're going to miss it so much. We have our Rito shirt on to celebrate it. But also to celebrate the ending of Lower Decks, we are welcoming creator and showrunner Mike McMahan to Popversations, the genius behind, I think, what surprised everyone as turning out to be one of the most beloved new Trek shows, one of the most beloved shows of this Star Trek generation. Mike also worked on South Park and Rick and Morty. He also created and launched Solar Opposites, which I love so much, still streaming with Jesse on Hulu right now. So let's put our hands together. Let's dive into the world of Golden Axe, Mike's new project, and see what happens inside this Popversation with Mike McMahan. Hi, Mike. Thank you for joining us on Popversations today.
Thank you for having me. And it's a new Star Trek Lower Decks episode drop day too. So,
that's so true.
Then when we're recording it.
That's right. When this will go out, I think the season might be over. But I told you before we started, I came in my Mike McMahan fangirl shirt, but I also have my little friend here to complete. She's the best. I bought her in Florida, and Gator almost ate her, which I feel like is somehow appropriate for Jesse in a strange way.
Can happen for sure. Yeah.
But I want to ask, how much swag or merch from your own shows are within reaching distance of you in your office right now?
I've got a bunch of stuff sitting around in here. I've got Kayshawn as the puppet.
Yes.
I've got the Jordy Bear. I've got the adult-sized Spock helmet.
Oh my God.
I've got lots of stuff hanging around. There's actually some spoiler stuff in here too, so I won't pull it out just yet.
Sad face. Okay, just to indulge me even more, is there any like bit of swag or props that you wish would get made that we can like lobby people on the internet? Is it the full wall from Solar Opposites?
Oh man. Toddland made the whole wall for Comic-Con this year, and they had it up, and it had little animated sections of it, which was really cool. I don't know. I love ships. I like Star Trek ships, you know. So getting more Lower Decks ships, I would love. Or action figures of the crew to like hopping around would be cool. From the very beginning, I've been banging the drum of that it would be really cool to have like extended universe, non-canon Lower Decks novels that like feel like the 90s Star Wars novels, or like
You're just trying to fill up memory beta for the rest of time.
yeah, it just feels funny to me that there should be like a dozen, there should be a whole series about Billups when he was a kid and like stuff like that would be fun. So,
I'm sure some nice people over on fanfiction.net or Archive of Our Own have already gotten to work on this
I would
for
like
you.
to believe that's true. I would like to believe that's true.
I've always been hoping that they would make either boots or slippers of the Lower Decks footwear
Yeah.
because the deltas on the bottom really, really tickle me every single time.
Every Star Trek show should have a pair of shoes where the delta is on the bottom,
Correct.
Like,
Correct.
I see a lot of cosplayers, and the first thing I look at is how they accomplish the Lower Decks boots, because different people do it differently. And I've seen a lot of Uggs, like spray painted Uggs, and galoshes and stuff like that. So they should at least make some for the cosplayers out there.
Yeah, exactly. Just do it for the not for us.
Not for us.
Do it for the cosplayers.
Do it for the dedicated cosplayers of the world.
Mike, we know you under your official title of showrunner and animation magnate. What does a showrunner actually do for anyone who doesn't know? And how much of your day is actually writing versus managing personalities?
Yeah, so showrunner is sort of like the director on a movie, but for every aspect of a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
So the showrunner is in every writing meeting. They are doing the last pass of every script. They're doing the last pass of every outline. They're touching everything that everybody does on the writing side, so that you get new brains on each episode, but then you also have the episodes feel like the show, and so then the showrunner also usually directs all the voice actors or is involved in picking takes. And, we work with all the artists to make sure that when we're designing all the characters or the backgrounds, that like you're giving everybody kind of the same goal. Like everybody's working towards what the vision of every episode is and what the series is. And then, you're doing all the production stuff. Like you're doing all of the audio mixing, and you're sitting with the composer and spotting the score, and you're doing the casting and listening to auditions and meeting with the casting director, and you are figuring out how to stretch the budget to be able to do an episode if it's bigger or if it's smaller, or what are we going to do? And then, you're doing the less glamorous stuff, like,
what?
We have a lot of characters in this episode. We have to do an episode with fewer characters next, and balancing all that. And that's the job that goes from pitching all the way through airing. Like you're the only person. It comes down to like 3 people at the very end, making sure that, international is conformed and stuff like that. And then you're also meeting with the marketing people, and you're talking to the executives, and you're receiving the notes, and you're interacting with the Roddenberrys, and you're interacting with Secret Hideout and with CBS and Paramount Plus and all the different iterations of that. And you're working with the marketing people to make sure that the show is being represented correctly, both in print media and in the trailers. And you're talking to the social teams, and you're picking clips that can go out, and on and on and on. It's but for the writing, there is like a ton of writing. Like you're the first writer there, and you're also the last writer to leave. You're the writer who's working on the weekends. And the writing team is really there to make sure that more than one brain and more than one perspective is getting into the show. But like, it's not incumbent on any one writer to be able to nail the exact voice or remember everything that's ever happened on the show. That's why you have a showrunner and producers and people who are
support staff,
and great support staff.
Yeah.
Part of that. So I've definitely lived that life too.
What is a more, we're going to talk about that. What is a more chaotic project to be in charge of, Lower Decks or Solar Opposites? Because one, you are living in a huge expansive universe, and one, you're the king of the universe.
Yeah. I think Lower Decks is a little harder. It's a little more chaotic. I think because Lower Decks has more rules.
Yeah.
Like you can turn in a design on Solar Opposites, and if it's making me laugh and it has crystals sticking out of it, I'm like, yeah, let's just do that. That's what that's going to look like.
Yes. It's giving Christmas special vibes.
Yeah. And then on Lower Decks, it's, where does this fit into the Star Trek timeline? Is this a prop that's already existed in the show? Is this, does this fit into what we're trying to do to feel like a main franchise show while also, having fun with it? And yeah, I don't know. They're both pretty fun to make, but Lower Decks is definitely a bigger challenge. Like Solar Opposites is kind of like, it's hard because it looks amazing and the art team does an amazing job and I love the writers on it. But like a lot of the time it is just me goofing and chasing this like goofy kind of like sci-fi chaos. Like chaos is the point of Solar,
Yes.
and so when it's chaotic, it doesn't feel like the hard part about Solar is the show and the show and the show. Because like then you have an art team that has to character design and background design and a board team that has to board and direct and all these different styles of show. It's like being asked to do 3 things instead of 1. You know what I mean? Like it's tough to have episodes be cinematic and stretch our budget that much. And it takes a lot of really talented people. And then conversely on Lower Decks, takes an equal amount of talent just for a completely different goal, for something that feels like it sprang out of a 90s Star Trek sort of mentality, but that it's something more all the time,
I also think you do a hilarious job of trolling both fandoms. Like Wolf 359 was an inside job. The scream I scrumped when I heard that, I was like, how dare you, sir, attack me personally.
And that was something we came up with just goofing in the booth. Like,
oh, really?
Well, yeah, because we had some conspiracy theories and I was like, let's push this more. Let's make this guy even more unlikable. And we were like throwing out ideas and stuff and just cackling as the options were coming in. So you're always writing it all the way through. You know what I mean? Like there's the script and then you write it again in the booth and then you write it again in the edit and then you write it again at the color edit and then at the mix. Sometimes a new line will slip in. It's a lot of work.
That's a wild way to think of it, that you never stop writing, even though the docs are submitted, the WGA has said, yes, this is all fine, or whomever. Let's not talk about, maybe I should have brought up.
So WGA,
yeah, exactly.
I will say that the writing never stopping is just because something that works amazing on the page, you might see it on screen and be like, oh, this stuff is coming way too late. You know what I mean? Or like this stuff made sense when it was described, but when you're seeing it in 1 second, nobody knows what the heck is going on, So sometimes a lot of the rewriting is it's punch up, but sometimes it's like structural, like, oh, we have to give the audience a chance to understand this.
You can't just abandon us completely.
Yeah, sorry, everybody. Enjoy understanding this in the 3rd rewatch.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, not hikey though, like Star Trek people, we live for that. So
yeah. Well, some of you guys would be great at it. And actually, some of you guys have bailed me out many a time where you watch it and you immediately get it. And I see other people being like, oh, and I'm like, okay, thank God for that. I also sometimes, like producer Brad Winters and I were talking the other day about what clip to put out for an upcoming episode. And we were both like, oh, put this clip where we introduce this new villain so that that clip is out there for a week and people can get used to the idea of a new villain, because we don't have a ton of time to introduce them. But hopefully and then once the episode's aired a couple times, you get used to it and that villain. So it helps dull the amount of information your brain is taking in and just lets you enjoy the episode a little bit more. So like there's we're always trying to think of the audience, like what is going to make them understand what the heck we're talking about.
Okay, so we alluded to your time as a support staffer. That was when you and I first met. You were working on Rick and Morty. So I would love to know, what did you learn in the trenches that you have now taken to, again, being this like adult animation magnate in charge of everything?
I learned a ton at Rick and Morty. I mean, I worked with Dan Harmon is probably the best writer I've ever worked with. His sense of marrying structure and when to be goofing, is just so brilliant, but also just like what emotional stories he wants to tell, what character stories he wants to tell. And I think I do stuff my own way, but I crib tons of stuff from him as well. And, I know a lot of writers who have worked with him that are exactly the same, and I also Rick and Morty was such an amazing experience for me because I remember seeing, like I was one of the first 4 people on that show, and I saw the pilot that they had roughly made before the show got picked up. And I remember just being like, oh, this is exactly my jam. like sci-fi, smartly written sci-fi with some stakes and lots of comedy and that feeling that Futurama gives. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like it just felt like a new Futurama we didn't know we had before, you know?
And then you were there as it became like the biggest thing in the world.
It was weird to see it become the biggest thing in the world. And I remember when the first Redbubble ripoff t-shirt came out, we were all like, oh, weird. A
You made
t-shirt of
it.
Rick and Morty? Can you imagine? This is crazy, you know? And then Adult Swim didn't have a merch department at the time, so we just created our own merch for a while. Like producers were just working on merch. And then
were you like stuffing envelopes? Like if you've ever worked with support staff does everything that nobody else wants to do. So were you there like shipping the original shirts?
No, we never made the shirts.
Okay.
I was there when we were like, I remember like a big crisis in one season was that the water bottle broke in the water bottle machine in the writer's room. Like, I was like, you know, it was, you had to stop all that up. But I was really fortunate on Rick and Morty because I started as a writer's assistant and then Dan upped me to writer by the second season and he gave me a script first season. And then I just really clicked that show and my mentality of what I like to watch just really clicked. So I ended up being, you know, up to producer pretty quickly. And I was showrunner by the end of it, just because I really worked well with the creators and with all of the artists. And a lot of them went with me to make Solar and have jumped back and forth between Lower Decks and Solar. So, you know, I really did learn how to make an animated show that I like to make because every one of them is different. I worked at South Park for a long time and it's a totally different process. And I saw a lot of the behind the scenes on all the Fox animated shows when I worked there. But you know, and then of course I made my own version of it for Lower Decks and Solar, and Lower Decks and Solar and Golden Axe are all different processes as well. So, you know, I think it's just the number one lesson to learn is just to like, think about the audience, think about what you would be excited to see and surround yourself with people who are thinking the exact same way, who are really excited, who bring their own taste and personality and, you know, their perspective to the show, but that at the end of the day, they're excited to make the show. They're not trying to break it down. They're not trying to slow it down. Everybody believes in each other. You know, I know it sounds a little trite, but like it's already hard. Like you just want to be surrounded by people that are crazy enough to really believe in it and get excited by it. And both of the shows are filled with people like that. All three of them are.
Well, and all of your shows have like such a strong core family group, whether it's a found family or a nuclear. I guess the opposites are a nuclear family as much as they can be, as Schlorbians can be under the premise. And it seems like that really like translates to what you're doing in the room. And I appreciate you talking about like how you balance out like narrative storytelling with comedy, because you do kind of the Bart Simpson thing where it's like, and we reset and everything is familiar. But then like Terry and Corvo, I think, are like one of the healthiest married long-term relationships I've ever seen on television, and it makes me so delighted every time they're like just adorable and gross at each other.
Yeah, so I like those kind of family groups. I like TV that feels like, oh, let's get the family gathered around and watch a you know, a workplace family or a friend group family or a family. And then I like to fuck with all of that and like make you think you know what you're going to get and then betray you narratively and give you something you didn't expect. And I see a lot of people get mad. They're like, this isn't what I wanted. It's not what I thought it was going to be. And then like 3 years later, they're like, I do like this, you know, like, because it's hard. I liken it to you can make something good, but if somebody picks up what they think is a glass of water and it's a glass of Sprite or 7-Up, they're going to think it's poison for a second. You know, they're going to be like, ah! And I think you can run the risk of, if you surprise people too much, like they kind of, you know, you can't be the enemy of the audience unless it's for their own benefit, you know?
I love the idea that you're aiming to be Benioff and Weiss getting the reaction that they got at the end of Game of Thrones, and you're not dreading that you're like, bring it on. You'll get it in 3 years.
Fun. Like one of my favorite episodes is the peanut hamper episode, and so many people despise it.
Deeply divisive.
Yeah, and I'm like, you know, there are so many Star Trek stories that are colonial kind of like fantasy, you know, that haven't aged well, and there's a lot of movies, and there's like Avatar, and there's Dances with Wolves, and you know, Last Samurai. Like this story this myth, this modern myth has been told over and over again, and I've never liked it, you know, and I understand the narrative structure of it, but like it's a thing that Star Trek has done a ton.
Yeah.
And doing one of those with a faceless, unlikable robotic protagonist and bird people and
Love
just
the bird
following
people.
the beat strictly from every other, you know, colonizer, savior, you know, living with the indigenous population movie or show, like just following those beats with a ridiculous setup and then having her not learn a valuable lesson by the end of it. So that it's unlike everybody else. It's unlike every movie where it's like, I am now indigenous myself, you know, like.
Don't talk about Dune like that, Mike. That's not nice.
I
know. Dune is so good.
It's different. But anyway, the lead characters in Dune are the bad guys. But anyway, if people don't understand that Paul running a celestial jihad is not a good thing to happen to him, it's time to read Dune instead of watch Dune, maybe. But anyway, what the hell was I talking about?
Oh, I was balancing out like narrative structure with comedy, and you were talking about Peanut Hamper. Yeah,
that like she doesn't learn at the end of it to be a bird person, that she still is an unchanged, cruel, petty little robot that has to learn a lesson in a future season with Agamis. Like, I love that episode. I was like, and I truly believed, I was like, oh man, the crowd is going to love this episode because it's so clear. The dig is so clear. And man, do a lot of people hate that episode. Bless the existence of Lower Decks for letting me do that episode. It's one of my favorites. And I love Heather Donahue, who plays Peanut Hamper with no face, is so funny in it. And so game to be funny. So anyway.
I would love to ask you a little bit about working with voice actors. Who is the most challenging, and was it Sagan?
My son Sagan has played this character, the pupa on Lower Decks that is based on him. No, on Solar Opposites, excuse me. I do that so often, by the way, because we started the first seasons of Lower Decks and Solar Opposites simultaneously. They were both my first show, which is crazy.
So how much coffee do you have in a day?
A lot of coffee until it like makes your eyes hurt.
Yes.
One of my writers drinks so many Diet Cokes that it made the capillaries in his dick tingle, and he had to stop. He went to the doctor for it, which really stopped the writer's room that day. It was too funny. Like, he made his own dick hurt from too much caffeine from Diet Coke.
I aspire to that level of being caffeinated, frankly.
Sometimes I'm like, I'm okay because I'm not there yet, but if you're even thinking that. But anyway, it's a lot of work. For voice actors, working with Sagan is awesome because he went from being a little kid that's parroting back lines to like actually being a voice actor and like giving me options and like remembering lines and saying them like a year later in you know what I mean? Like he's actually doing the work. And but it's written as a bit. It's written like Ike in South Park. You know what I mean? Like it's not a fleshed out role, even though I love that role. Every voice actor is really different. Like Tawny's a genius. You know what I mean? Like working with Tawny as a voice actor feels like you're on stage with your favorite improviser, but you're also working with a writer, but you're also working with somebody creating a virtual present and like really making you feel like they're becoming the character. Like, and I work with a lot of actors like that, but Tawny is definitely one that kind of like always blows me away. Jack is amazing because he always knows a funnier version of the line than I do, and is always gets the joke instantly and like wants to play with it. Weirdly, my favorite voice actor to work with is Jerry O'Connell because he is like
Superman himself, Jerry O'Connell.
He's so funny. He's so kind. He's so ludicrous. He makes me laugh every single time. We usually get like, for each line, we'll get like a dozen takes. He'll give me 500 if I don't stop. You know, like he is. And I know that I'm not crazy because everybody else who voice directs on the show loves working with him too, because it's like, he's like doing a comedy routine for us and he loves the show, you know? So there's just something, it's not work ever when Jerry's there. Part of it is that he's not one of the leads of the show.
Mhm.
So like with fewer lines, you can goof around a little bit more. Like if we were doing that with Eugene, I'd be like, Eugene, we have like 100 more lines to do.
Yeah.
Like,
you're also playing one of the characters who's like the emotional core of the show.
yeah, exactly. But Jerry just has to come in and just be a beefsteak, mutton head, good first officer. Yeah, like, I'm so lucky with the Lower Decks cast. Like Noelle is just, you write up to all of them.
My fave.
Eugene is so funny. Like I love doing in-person stuff with Eugene because he's one of the funniest people I've ever met. And just the whole cast is just punching above their weight. They're so killer. And then the whole Solar Opposites cast reminds me of Aliens. Like talking to Mary Mack, I'm like, where did you come from? Like I'm from the Midwest too. Like you're so funny and singular, and Sean Jambroni and Thomas too. Like and obviously like we get to work with a super, with Dan Stevens, who's like like a gorgeous Hollywood like leading man who's also funny and ridiculous and cool. And
he seems like he must be a true genius in the sense of like slightly unhinged, because his Corvo is so funny.
He's so
and
funny.
Like so straight.
To me, I think of him as like our new Nick Cage, like the torches.
Yes.
Because he can play serious. He can play I'm a Vampire King. He can play I scrub King Kong's teeth. Like he's so good at anything he does, but he really brings charm to all of it. Like he makes it bouncier than it could have been if it hadn't been him. And I think we're really lucky to have him on Solar.
So 2 quick questions before I let you go, because we're almost at time. 1, I think most people here are here for Lower Decks, so please let them know like where else they can find you, what they can follow you, new shows, anywhere that you want to tease that people can come and support you, because Lower Decks tragically is winding down until we all bully Paramount into giving us a movie.
I would love to do Lower Decks movies. I'm so divided because I'm like, I would love to do live action Lower Decks, live action Star Trek, but I want to work with this whole crew. If I do live action, I don't get to work with any of my artists. I don't get to work with everybody that I like making the show with. So I want to
have 45 extras at every scene, and it's just all your crew.
Well, I want to be greedy. I want to make more Lower Decks show. I want to make Lower Decks movies, and I want to make a live action Star Trek that's inspired by Lower Decks, but that's a new thing. So like that, and that Lower Deckers could show up on, so we could get to do all of it. You can find me on Blue Sky. That's my social media of choice. I'm not on Twitter anymore, and my Instagram is locked down because it's just pictures of my kids. So you're not missing anything. I am currently in the middle of producing Solar Opposites season 6, which is exciting. I slowed down there because I'm not sure if we announced that yet, but maybe we did, and whatever, we're doing it.
I'll check with you before we put this out on the internet.
We're in the middle of producing Golden Axe, the animated series based on the original Sega arcade game for Comedy Central. That should be airing next year. It's really, really funny. It's got an amazing voice cast. The art looks unbelievable. And then Lower Decks is airing 2 more episodes after this. This conversation might air after it resolves, but I'm really, really excited for people to see the last 2 episodes. The penultimate episode is kind of a gift to fans while also being a geek out for me. And then the finale was like, every Lower Decks finale I do is let's do something about the ship. Let's do something about space. Let's not stay inside this episode. And this one got a little big, a little longer than the other episodes, but it's the idea of it was what if the crisis kept escalating and every time you solved something else came up. So like that was hard, and but it's really cool, and it's massive, or it was for us. It'll probably feel not big enough for you guys. And then has a really sweet ending. I really love the ending, and I think I'm really interested to see what the fans say about how we end the show.
And then lastly but not leastly, what are you geeking out about that you're not working on in all your free time? Like, what are you enjoying?
Yeah. I just read the book Pandora's Star, which I'd never read and I really liked.
Yes.
Thought it was cool. I'm reading a lot of Tom King DC comics right now. I think they're great. I think there's a lot of good comics out there. I've got pull lists going again, and every Wednesday I'm going and picking up a bunch of stuff.
Nice.
I'm watching Skeleton Crew with my 10-year-old and 6-year-old, the new Star Wars show, and it's the first time my 6-year-old's liked Star Wars, and it's also the first time he's been subjected to a show that isn't all complete and done. Because we watched 2 episodes and he was like, all right, let's watch the next one. And I was like, it's not out yet. And he gave me an earful. So like Gen Alpha doesn't know what it means to have to wait for the episode. He was pissed off. But it's cool to get to watch and share that kind of stuff with them. I think that's it. I'm reading Shatterpoint, a Star Wars novel about Mace Windu, which is fun.
Very good.
I'm reading the Jim Henson biography, which is very calming right now and making me feel very good. Yeah, and I'm working on a bunch of little secret Disney projects that nobody's allowed to know about yet, but hopefully come to fruition, and I can say more about that next year, hopefully.
Very exciting. Mike, thank you so much for joining us, and I hope we'll have you back on when you can talk about other future things.
I hope so too. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching oh, there's my finger. Oh, no. Oh, God.